The world is never going to be the same again.
I'm worried about the world.
The mass chaos and crises that there was in the world, it's going to be just like that now.
This is not an accident.
How long is it going to last? Longer than even for those of you that have some cash in the bank, way past your cash reserves.
Out of 100 people, 4 will get the message.
This thing isn't going to be over in a few weeks. This thing isn't going to be over in a few months.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As guys, it's breaking news. Earth-shattering news, in my opinion. The Fed Chair Jerome Powell stated it's possible to have more than one reserve currency. And here, from Fintechs, it gives an article, a synchronistic article, that goes along with that announcement. The Fed preps tiered system for evaluating fintechs' access to services. The Federal Reserve Board is seeking comment on a plan to introduce a tiered system for evaluating whether to grant access to its accounts and payment services. Last May, the Fed set out guidelines for evaluating requests for accounts and payment services. Ladies and gentlemen, fintechs, in my personal opinion, directly correlate to the asset class that we are a part of. And here, this quote on the bottom by Lyle Bernard helps indicate the direction we're going in. With tech driving rapid change in the payment landscape, the proposed guidelines would ensure novel requests for access to Federal Reserve accounts and payment services are evaluated consistently and transparently to ensure a safe and innovative payment system. Ladies and gentlemen, I think all of you agree, and all of you are astonished at how much things are accelerating. Remember, a couple months ago, Craig DeWitt from Ripple was proud to share he had been selected as the vice chair for the United States Faster Payments Council for cross-border payments. Then, context is needed. In the same breath, Ripple improved speed and transparency of global payments. This was a direct quote from the Federal Reserve Task Force, and this language that these financial elites use is universal. Now, something else that I need to point your attention to is that Jerome Powell stated, war underscores the need for action on digital currency. And then, when we remember this comment, that it's possible to have more than one reserve currency, we have to remember that I'm speechless. Guys, the fact that SWIFT is in the mainstream right now is not an accident. For years, the XRP community has been pointing out the antiquated infrastructure in SWIFT. And now, more than ever, we're at the forefront of this financial revolution. People are slowly beginning to creep into the XRP space. As they learn about SWIFT, they realize that XRP could very well replace it. And when I use the term replace, I mean work with. XRP will replace the antiquated plumbing of this financial system and allow everything to settle in 3 seconds. But guys, while you keep all of that in your minds, I have to pivot your attention over to CNN very quickly, as we see that the White House detailed new sanctions on both Russia and Belarus. And the reason is because Belarus has helped Russia and the current tensions on the planet right now. The reason that's so important is because of what I'm about to show you. Here, guys, I posted on my Instagram an article which states all Belarusian banks are prepared to be disconnected from SWIFT, and this article is back from December 2021. They have switched to the Russian financial messaging service in advance. And guys, when I tell you these events happening in the world today are not random, that they are predetermined, this is an additional example of exactly that. In addition, guys, also in my Instagram story, I post here from CoinDesk this reminder from 2021. Ukraine commercial bank to test digital currency built on Stellar. Guys, we know Stellar is XRP's little brother. We see a Stellar Ukraine connection. And I don't think this is an accident either. All these narratives seem to be merging towards one final point, one climax of a moment, one quantum financial system. And guys, in the same breath, we saw the other day that the Ukrainian central bank suspended electronic cash transfers. Now this is quite interesting, my friends. The use case for crypto has been on full display. We've seen crypto being used for donations and the narrative of crypto being used to get around sanctions. But let me tell you this, Garlinghouse went completely off on exactly what he thinks on what's going on with crypto in this current crisis. Here, Garlinghouse states, I continue to see asinine arguments from uninformed pundits on how crypto works, and I want to reiterate what Ashish Burla said yesterday. There are actual factual reasons why crypto can't be used in the broad scale for Russia to evade sanctions, and this is important, my friends. Remember in my last video when I told all of you, I believe the narrative will be that the BRICS nations will come out with their own payment system. And then, eventually down the road, that payment system will connect to XRP. But for right now, XRP is Ripple technology, and Ripple is a US company. And I believe after this SEC case is settled and over, XRP will be viewed as heroic tech for this specific situation. That is just speculation, of course, but it's not unfounded. And we're going to get into all of that after I'm finished with this thread. Here, it's stated crypto exchanges are refusing calls to freeze Russian accounts. A Binance spokesperson said doing so would fly in the face of the reason why crypto exists. And Kraken CEO said the move would violate Bitcoin's libertarian views. Garlinghouse stated, in order to convert crypto to fiat, exchanges rely on banking partners who could lose their license if someone on the OFAC list is able to slip through. Extremely stringent KYC and AML policies are in place to avoid precisely this. RippleNet, for example, has always been and remains today committed to not working with sanctioned banks or countries that are restricted counterparties. And ladies and gentlemen, that right there is powerful. And that is why in my video yesterday, I changed my tune. XRP has been trialed and used by the Central Bank of Russia. XRP, in my opinion, will be used by the BRICS nations, including Brazil, South Africa, China, India, and Russia. But right now, narratives are important. Sanctions are important. RippleNet is a US technology, and so is XRP. And I believe the counterplay to the BRICS nations payment system and the Russian payment system specifically could be XRP for the US, because believe me, my friends, we have nothing else. We are so infinitely broke. The United States likes to stroke his ego as if we are the greatest and wealthiest nation on the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a third world country wearing a Gucci belt. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. We are brokety broke to the nth degree. XRP is the only thing we have left. And we are so stupid we decided to sue Ripple. Oh man. Incredible, my friends. But let's get back to this thread. Instead of listening to responsible players in the game who have been clear they will abide by legal sanctions, some pundits and media insist on continuing to paint crypto as the Silk Road, both an exceptionally outdated and tired argument which simply doesn't hold true today. This is a powerful thread by the Ripple CEO, and I 100% agree, my friends. something I need to show all of you is this right here. Matthew Liny deserves a follow from all of you for this thread I'm about to show you. Here, he highlights BRICS, the new international payment system, plus BRICS Pay Retail segment. This was in 2019. What could be the new unit of account calculated in real time? Could this be a crypto such as XRP? Ladies and gentlemen, in this document it shows the SDR, something that I've highlighted numerous times. The current SDR revaluation date by the IMF has been laid out to be July 31st, 2022, which in my opinion is a powerful date and should be something that happens after the end of this lawsuit. Very interesting. This on the right is a tentative basket of the new unit of account, new SDR. And here we have the US, EU, Russia, China, Japan, India, Brazil, and South Africa, BRICS nations, plus the old SDR basket. Now that is very interesting. Guys, to compound that, if you guys were wondering what the possible evidence could be that XRP could be used, the evidence is right here. Them talking about XRP right in this document. They say in 2019 the BRICS Business Council formed a working group studying the possibility of creating a special trade facilitating BRICS cryptocurrency to ensure uninterrupted paperless document flow for trade obligations. In fact, in order to achieve the BRICS goal of de-risking trade settlements in national currency, there is no need to create a specialized crypto for document flow. And here down below, when you fast forward a little more, it states funds needed to execute the contract can be temporarily pre-sorted in a linked virtual escrow-like account associated with the contract to guarantee fund availability at the time of execution. The example they give is the XRP ledger. Once the contract execution date arrives and conditional fulfillment checks are completed, smart contracts self-execute and disperse associated payments to the contracting parties. And ladies and gentlemen, we've all known this and we all understand this. The reason over the past couple days I've turned from skeptical over the state of the crypto market to bullish is because facts are on our side. Brad Garlinghouse highlights how crypto specifically is not going to be helping Russia evade these sanctions. They are creating their own payment system, and I give you the example of the payment system they're looking to create. Eventually down the road, all the payment system, in my opinion, will run with XRP, but for right now, the United States needs an option. And I think they have a plan. We have been last publicly on the regulatory front to adopt this type of technology. But this moment right now may be where the US showcases some strength. And I am cautiously optimistic they will be at the heart of XRP adoption when this lawsuit is said and done. Currently, this Ripple SEC case, it is the beginning of regulatory clarity. But at the same time, we're seeing that Tether is definitely under SEC investigation as well, cleaning up the crypto space to go along with it. And ultimately, this will be good for crypto. Crypto Whale, at the same time, states that Bitconnect's founder has officially been indicted by the Department of Justice for running a $2.4 billion crypto Ponzi scheme. All of this merging at the same time as regulations are upon us. Nexo's Actions is a crypto exchange that's trying to be regulatory compliant and receive licenses. I like it. It's showing that regulations are here, and while as a customer it's frustrating, as someone looking objectively at an exchange looking to do the right thing, to be compliant, this is good. This signals to me that we are so close. This signals to me that the crypto space's credibility is going to go through the roof. Recent price action, in my opinion, especially over the past 7 days, has been extremely positive. And while I'm cautiously optimistic and have in fact turned bullish in the short term on the state of the market, we have to understand what's at play here. They're about to launch their cyber attacks. Guys, they're going to come after the traditional financial system. 1, keep your crypto offline on your hardware wallets. And 2, I'm going to play you this quick clip from Coach JV showing you exactly how this is going to play out. Predictive programming is how they let you know their plan, and cyber attacks have been in the works for at least the past 2 years. I've been telling you about this since 2019, and 2022 is when their grand finale comes into play.
I have no greater ability than anybody else to speculate on if it happens and when and how big it is. But I think there's a couple of factors to consider. To the point made by the guest this morning, whose soundbite we just heard, it does represent potentially something systemic that really kind of moves into the entire global financial system. But maybe just as important would be what...
That was important. Something systemic that moves into the whole global financial system.
What it would do to psychology. And if you think back to 2008, yes, there were plenty of fundamental and bubble bursting reasons why we had the carnage that we did, why the market went down as much as it did, why the recession was as ugly as it was. But a lot of it was pure fear on the part of businesses and consumers and investors. And that can feed on itself too. And versus something, say, like a natural disaster that isn't necessarily going to instill that pervasive fear, right. I think a cyber attack would.
You know, Michael, to some degree, we all get lulled into a false sense of security about all of this because there are plenty of security services out there that are designed, or their mission is to prevent this from happening, but then it happens. So, you know, are we really that safe from that kind of an attack?
No, Bill, but we never really are, and we haven't been for the past few years. When I think back to 2007, you know, we were talking about subprime, and we were saying, all right, we understand how subprime could be a threat. We didn't know that the banks were levered 40-1. Most of us didn't know. We didn't know that there were $2 billion, $3 billion of off-balance sheet SIVs. I didn't know what a SIV was, Phil, until all of a sudden you're sitting at your desk in the fall with the market dropping and overnight funds not trading, trying to say, now, what is it? And what did it just do? And how? So my point here is I actually think the earlier guest was a bit of an optimist by saying that this is the one remaining threat. It's not the one. We've got North Korea. We've got Iran. We've got a nuke that could go. And cybersecurity is big. But we have to, I think, look at the fundamentals underlying the economy and where we are. And, you know, it's been a long time since we had a recession. Something rather unexpected over the next few years will likely trigger another one. Investors shouldn't be surprised, but we will be.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that specific clip right there was from 2018. And here in 2022, the narrative of Russian cyber attacks is circulating amongst the mainstream news. In 2019, I was called a conspiracy theorist for saying cyber attacks were coming. In 2022, everyone's regurgitating that narrative inside of every financial echo chamber you'll ever be a part of. Geopolitical and systemic risk is at play here. And at the end of the day, there's one asset, one massive one, that's currently extremely undervalued and going through the reins of this SEC lawsuit to bring clarity to the entire crypto market. And in my opinion, to bring sustainability and security as well as speed to the new financial system. You see, guys, it's no accident that XRP has not really taken off yet during this bull run yet. It's because it is the laggard, usually the last one to take off during altcoin season. And yet again, like clockwork, it's doing a similar thing. XRP has been brought down due to this case because it will be the leader afterwards. And they're doing everything in their power to dissuade you from trying to own it. Delisted from exchanges. SEC lawsuit afoot. Massive FUD everywhere. But through all of it, a select few on this planet have survived through it all. And it's because our asset is so important. This lawsuit has always been about the escrow. Almost half of the total amount of XRP ever created is in that escrow. And it's no coincidence the SEC, an arm of the central banks, the JP Morgans and the Goldman Sachs of the world, they want their cut. This lawsuit has always been about giving the banks, the IMF, the World Bank, these central banks, more of the cut than they could even imagine. Ripple cannot, after this lawsuit is said and done, have that escrowed XRP. Ripple will be too powerful. The central banks, the IMF, the US Treasury, I suspect that they will take custody in some way, shape, or form of portions of that escrow. And when everything's said and done, we'll realize why we had to go through hell to make it to the promised land. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. Tonight on my Instagram, I'm hosting a very special Q&A session. And I would all ask you to follow me down in the description below so you can gain access for it. As this market heats up, I know you all have questions. And I hope to see you all there. As always, guys, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
You want to know how to be a successful investor? The answer is stay with what you know. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to TV people, internet people. Just stay with what you know. If I told you you can only have 20 investments in your life, you would be very careful. You wouldn't be jumping in and out, listening to hot tips every day, every month. You would stay with what you know and you would become a successful investor. Everybody watching this knows a lot about something, whether it's fashion or cars or sports or something. When you see something that you know is going to be successful and exciting, don't just say, oh, that's going to be great. Don't tell all you. Then you go and you do your research and you figure out how to and if you should invest and how to invest, and then you invest. You will know it long before I will, or long before other people in the investment community. You will also know when to sell, because you will know when something's going to change again. Nobody likes to hear it. Everybody wants a hot tip. Everybody wants to be rich this month. In those days, we did nothing but focus and concentrate and dig deep and dig deep and dig deep.